no signal. Well, let's see.
Let's see. Have your computer there? You mind?
Go for it. That's not a very healthy one.
I don't want to read it. I just want to.
I think it's, I don't know, I used the computer in the library, and so I think the font or the type, how big it is totally off, and everything else on it. And everything in the library was down too, so I was like rushing to get out of there. Everyone wanted the computer.
Right. Let's see. 8x6 at 85 hertz. All right. All right. So, any questions, comments from the material? Windows Explorer. How about desktop? Computer. Removable disk. Okay, CPSY. There are many ways around computer glitches. One of them is always to have a backup. So let's slide 177.
What is that?
What is what? The noise is the air conditioning, probably.
Oh. I know I just came from outside and it was not raining.
Okay. Where are we? All right. So here's some feedback on social recons, etc. General feedback. So that your writing doesn't trip you up later. Now, I'm not exactly a writing teacher, but you're in college, right? So, write, R-I-T-A, R-I-T-E, is not a word unless you're referring to a ceremony. So write or write are words that you use in sentences, right? Specifically. So I'm not going to mark you down, but a writing teacher later on might. Or if you're writing for a job application, you're not using the correct word, correct grammar, all that kind of stuff will trip you up. Ah, Cottage Grove? Okay. They're unmuted? All right. So cigarette companies, for example, their light cigarettes had to be changed. They had to change that because they're not light or light in carcinogens any more than Bud Light is light on alcohol. As an example, when you're talking about, I'm switching from your writing to actually having you be able to decode the tricks that they use to string you out. Okay, so if somebody walks into my office as they have wearing a Bud Light cap, I said, okay, Bud Light has the same amount of alcohol as regular Bud, it's just light in calories. Same alcohol. Okay, when they were talking about light cigarettes, they're light in a particular obvious carcinogen, tar. Well, that just means they load them up on other carcinogens. So that means they're no less addictive or no less cancer-producing. They're just light. They're tricking you. Because you figure, oh, I'm doing better. I'm doing healthier. All right? So they trick you into buying a healthier product when it actually isn't better for you. All right, diet sodas, for example, where the sugar substitute causes you to gain weight. Low fat means high in sugar and carbs. You talked about that briefly. So a friend of mine, Dr. Dharma, let me adjust this so that it... So who Dr. Dharma is he's a, I believe he's a cardiologist. And he's also a yoga teacher, and he's done studies on particular meditations, on their health benefits, et cetera, for like Alzheimer's. And he also markets a line of vitamins and food supplements. So, of course, he talks about, all right, what you need to do is eat right. So, to quote, I'm on a daily email that he sends out about his. I haven't bought any of his stuff, but it makes sense because we sat down and we talked about this particular meditation and its usefulness for clients, and so I dispense meditations instead of medications, right? Because pills are not skills. So if I taught you skills to do what the pills do for you, you don't need the pills. Or you can supplement your pill use. So he talks about eating right. Eating right means have your diet consist mostly of plant-based foods such as fresh fruits, nuts, seeds, and vegetables. Limit or avoid empty calories such as sugar and fats. You probably want to avoid, unless you live in a desert, things with salt in them. Salt acts like a drug. Raises your blood pressure, if that's an issue with you. You're probably getting enough sodium in your diet if you don't live in a desert. This is a rainforest. It is raining. The monsoon has begun. So you probably get enough sodium already. Eat right. Exercise. Exercise meaning sweat every day. Doing something that causes you to sweat. This causes your body to throw off toxins. And, in addition to, exercising till you get your cardio up, sweating, et cetera, you have other benefits for your brain as well. Supplement your diet. And so, for example, he basically talks about, in terms of, because supplements are his thing, getting whatever nutrients you need that you aren't getting from your diet to supplement your diet. So, for example, if you're highly stressed, increase your B vitamins if you, do B vitamins. I do several herbs like turmeric, CoQ10, saw palmetto for prostate, all kinds of stuff like that. So supplement your diet. Meditate. He's a yoga teacher. I'm a yoga teacher. So meditate. You should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day. Unless you're too busy, then you should sit for an hour. Well, since we have meditations that go for an hour, that's nothing for us. But the meditations that I hand out to people are 11 minutes. Because if you can't take 11 minutes to slow down, there is a problem. And it probably isn't, if I can teach you a meditation that replaces your pot habit, which would be better for you in the long term. And then laugh. Maybe firstly you should laugh every day. If you can't take a joke, be one. All right, balanced diet. Okay, so it's no accident that one of the first things to fail in drug addiction is diet. So assuming the diet was balanced and healthy to begin with, what's that assumption? So I'm commenting in a specific social recon where somebody talks about they're taking a med to restore a chemical balance. I may have said this before, but in case I missed it, because I get old and I misremember stuff. No, that's what my grandma used to say. Misremembers. There has never been a healthy neurochemical balance established. Never. Never. People who are mentally ill, when you take their blood chemistry in terms of neurotransmitters, test normal. Scientific fact. There has never been. So when they talk about the drug is reestablishing a chemical imbalance, they've never established a healthy chemical balance. That's a marketing trick. They are kind of describing what the drug is doing. But it's working on the theory that the drug is correcting a chemical imbalance. No, all it's doing is changing the balance of the chemicals that are there in favor towards a particular, shall we say, norm. All right? Let me illustrate this visually. So if the diet was healthy and balanced to begin with, which if they haven't given you what a healthy balance is, that might be tricky. So let's see, where is starboard? Here, okay. All right. Let's say, for the sake of argument, this line is normal, whatever normal is. Normal is what happens. All right? And let's say that you're what they now call bipolar, but they used to call it manic depressive. Right? So let's say it's bipolar. So in your manic phase, you go up. And in your depressive phase, you're down. And then you cycle through, right? What if, so here's what the med is doing. Let's say the med is lithium. Okay, it's working on a particular neurotransmitter, and it's basically, as we say, stabilized within a narrow, what I'll refer to as bandwidth of normal. The drug places you in this state so that the highs are less high and the lows are less low. Or if they say that you're depressed, we'll give you an SSRI so that the drug takes you out of your depression or helps you screen out the depressive thoughts, etc. All right, so we're using the drug. So what if actually life itself were full of ups and downs normally? And your emotional response to it is actually a normal response. Like if somebody dies in your life that's close to you, you're like supposed to be depressed because you missed them. Duh, right? And in the worst patches of it, and this was the theory that went along with depression, okay? Like if we treated your depression with Xanax or Valium, well, the rough patch is only supposed to last for 3 weeks, right? So just before, during, and maybe a week after the funeral. And then you don't need the Valium anymore, theoretically, according to the working theory of dispensing Valium as a drug. Well, here's a reality. People may be grieving in the grief process for longer than 3 weeks. So what? We script with Valium for years? Or no, we teach you how to deal with your grief without the drug so that you experience it, process it, go through it, and let it go and integrate it into your life. Because part of being an adult is recognizing things die, you die, people die, and you get old enough and your friends will die, or you're in a relationship where things die or people die, or your friends are drug addicts and they OD and whatever. You're a combat veteran and your friends are dying around you and you experience that in flashbacks. I mean, life happens and it's full of ups and downs normally. Pills are not skills. So I'm not saying one substitutes for the other, but in our mode of dispensing pills, pills has become cheaper than teaching people skill to deal with the normal processes of life. So all I'm saying is, what if I gave you the skill to say, okay, when you're in your manic phase, you feel good, but maybe sometimes you feel better than things actually are, and so not only do you have rose-colored glasses, but all you see is the good and not the things that you should be paying attention to. And conversely, when you're depressive, in a depressive phase, things look worse than they actually are. And so you should look realistically at that. Oh, I think things are really bad here. So what should I do? Well, I should achieve this normal line and basically expand it so that I'm neither freaked out by the depression or the manic phase. That I just take it all in stride.